This morning, we're focused squarely on the health crisis itself as we talk with some of America's top pharmaceutical executives.
I think we need multiple shots on goal that are going to hopefully result in something positive. And that's going to have to come from both large companies, small companies, public and private sector as well to give us the best chance of being successful.
And clearly HHS as well as the BARDA organization are helping us tremendously in order to speed up the program. And very soon we will start with a very large phase 3 clinical trial in the United States with more than 30,000 volunteers. You need to have collaborations of governments like the US administration, by the way, across the world in order to make this massive effort a success. And just more than 400 million doses in the United States, 400 million doses across Europe, and more than 1 billion doses in the developing markets. So,
we've been partnering with BARDA for more than 15 years. So it's very familiar to us, and it's great to be able to work with an organization like that has this type of event in mind. Now, in Europe, there is no one-stop shop for public-private partnership like with BARDA. The other vaccine candidate uses a new technology called messenger RNA, and it's with our partner Translate Bio. And they've already established some relatively large-scale manufacturing for this novel technology.
But the speed and the willingness to work together, I think that the partnership, the public-private partnership we are seeing in the US is, I think, a clear example for other governments around the world. And we are, yes, there's competition among companies. I think that's always healthy. But in this specific case, the competition is against the virus. For the public, it's very important that the administration is going to give clarity about the first doses. Who is going to get the first doses of
So there's going to require investments in staffing, training, and infrastructure that need to be made now. And it will begin to help immediately, as I said, with the one-time delivery of routine immunizations, but also benefit COVID-19.
Really collaborating in unprecedented ways. And let me just focus on 4 key areas. The first is testing. Roche, one of our member companies, is running one of the largest platforms to enhance the nation's testing capacity. But what you might not be aware of is that our companies have their own laboratory expertise. A robust, diverse supply chain is a feature, not a bug, of modern drug development. Currently, over 1,200 clinical trials governing about 200 products that are being studied. And those products are being made available to patients already in the context of these clinical trials. Our companies are also developing new therapies. One of the most promising areas of research is monoclonal antibodies. So there are now more than 200 vaccine programs underway. Some of those programs, about a dozen or so, are already in human clinical trials. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to have a vaccine end of the year, beginning of next. We of course, support incentives and other policy reforms that would incentivize more investment in the United States, more manufacturing in the United States. But we're quite concerned about any abrupt change in the supply chain that would constrain the supply chain during this pandemic and make it harder for our companies to do what we need to do.